Well, hello, butterflies. Welcome to my little corner of YouTube. I'm so happy you're here. Today, we're going to talk about the restorative power and most important thing that we can do for ourselves. One of the most important things we can do for ourselves that is so often taken for granted and so often pushed to the back burner because it's not so important after all, is it? To get a good night's sleep. And more than just a good night's sleep, a restful, restorative sleep. And for us as women, especially women in midlife and beyond, sometimes it's difficult to get that good restorative night of rest because we have, let's be real. There are the hot flashes that can wake us up in the middle of the night. Sometimes we tend to wake up to go to the bathroom. Sometimes we tend to wake up because we have so many things turning in our head that we feel like we have to think about and accomplish the next day, and the to-do lists and the things we have to collect and the appointments it's just a lot sometimes. And being human in and of itself can be a challenge. Then you add in all the other things that go along with it, especially the things that our Western society sort of conditions us to feel like we must have or must accomplish or must listen to. Here is what I want to say today about sleep. Sleep is your friend. Sleep is the foundation for optimal wellness. No, that's just how it is. And when we put our own rest on the back burner because of all the other things that must get done, then we're kind of doing ourselves a humongous disservice, and the others in our lives too that we care about, because if we're not rested, if we don't care for ourselves, if we don't fill up our own vessel, we can't pour out to others. We just can't do it. And here are a couple of tips for getting a good night's sleep. If that's something you struggle with, breathing. Breathing is another thing that I think a lot of us sometimes think, it's something we do. Everybody breathes. If you're not breathing, it's not really a great sign. Everybody breathes, but breathing is something that, even though it's involuntary, like we can't not breathe. But unlike the lungs going in and out, that's kind of sort of along the lines of breathing, but unlike the heartbeat or so many digestion, things that happen in our body that just happen without our control, although the breath is automatic, we also can consciously have some control over that. So when we're breathing really shallow during the day, or we're just up here with stress and we're not concentrating on how we are tending to the breath, then we're less likely to sleep well. If you've been in a heightened state of cortisol, meaning your stress level is up here all day long, then it stands to reason that when it's time to wind down and rest in the evening, you might have a harder time doing that. So, a couple of tips for a great night's sleep. 1, get off your screen at least an hour before bedtime. Our circadian rhythms tell our body that when the sun starts to go down, it is time for us to be going into that resting state for the night. And when we have that blue light, those electronic lights in our faces when we're on our phone or we're looking at our computer or even when we're watching television, that keeps our body, our mind from allowing itself to ease into restful state, because we're still giving it all kinds of stimulation that it doesn't need that time of day. Even having the lights on overhead, if you could dim the lights, just get a dimmer or turn your lights out altogether and maybe just sit in a nice quiet place for a few minutes and concentrate on that breath for 10 or 15 minutes before you get into bed. Or a very dim light that you can read by and read a few minutes before you go to bed. Take your phone, just send it out of the room, put it somewhere else. I get it. If you have a child that's out and you want to make sure that they're home safe, if you need to have your phone with you, in other words, I mean, you just have to have it with you sometimes, but perhaps not thinking about scrolling on Instagram and watching that one more reel with the really cute golden retriever. Let's turn those phones off, read a book, say some prayers. Just lay in the bed with your eyes closed and think about 3 or 4 good things that happened to you that day. See if you can notice the thoughts as they come into your head. If it's a thought that comes in your head says, I forgot to pick up the dry cleaning today. Notice that thought. Send it on its way, just like a little leaf going down a stream. Maybe I'm a little all over the place, and that's okay. But just know this. If you can do 2 or 3 things at the end of the day to help give you a better chance at a good, restful night's sleep, then do it. Take the phone and just don't be on it for an hour before you go to sleep. Any screens at all. Maybe go outside, look up at the stars, and just dream a little bit before you go to bed and see if that doesn't help. Perhaps you take a nice cup of chamomile tea to bed with you and just sip on that and concentrate on the breath that's coming in and leaving your body, and allow yourself to be human. Show yourself lots of grace, but maybe try one little thing tonight that helps you feel a tiny bit less up here at bedtime, and see if it helps. I don't know. Well, that's all I have to say today about the absolute vital importance of sleep, but show yourself a lot of grace. Things just don't happen overnight. Or do they? Tonight for your overnight. Let's see. Give yourself the chance to get a good night's sleep. Feel better when you wake up so that you can serve and do the things that feel important to you to take care of the folks that you love in your life. The folks that you love in your life. All right. Take care, butterflies, and I will talk to you soon. Here's to a restful night. Bye.